Hello everybody, welcome to Telli Talks, where we talk about life, growth, relationships, and all things in between. I have a very special guest today, Brianna Giscombe.
Yes.
I'm gonna make sure I said it right because I'll be messing people's names up. But thank you for coming. She is on Too Hot to Handle season 3, y'all. So we're gonna talk all about it. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Okay, so these are our drinks. I'm gonna let you do the cheers. Cheers to...
I do feel like cheers to new beginnings because, you know, we're not done with the year yet. There's so much to accomplish.
Love it.
Oh, that tastes so good.
I'm so happy for you. And we're going to talk about why I'm happy for her. But for the people that don't know who you are, can you tell us about your journey and how you got to where you are today?
So I'm originally from Connecticut, but I moved to the Bay Area before I came to LA. I feel like I moved around a lot. My parents moved around, so you know how that goes. And then when I came to LA, I'm a makeup artist and an esthetician, and I worked at like an industry like waitressing, bottle service, all that jazz, you know. So I've been in the industry for like quite a bit of time. And then it was funny because I'm not really big on social media, and then one day I get like this DM, and it's like, oh, do you want to be on this show? And at that time, the show was like Parties in Paradise.
So they reached out to you on Instagram.
Yes, and this was during the pandemic.
So
so it was like there was no, you know, casting really in person. So everybody's just on their phone. So I was like, this must be a scam. Like, I don't know. I think I had like 3 pictures on my Instagram because I'm not really an Instagram person.
Right.
So when I see this DM, I'm like, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go out on a whim. Might as well.
Right.
So then I just like kind of replied and I was like, okay, sure. And they're like, all right, we're going to Zoom you. And I was like, oh my God, like this might not be a scam because they're going to Zoom me. So then I remember asking my best friend, like, oh my God, there's this show. They're going to Zoom me. And she actually applied for this show 6 months in advance and unfortunately didn't get on it. But I love my friends. We're all supportive of each other.
Of course.
So she's like, do it, do it, do it. So then I think I, you know, got on the Zoom and then she's like, oh, we love you. It's going to go fast. And I'm like, okay, what do you mean fast? So I think I did 2 more interviews. And then before I knew it, they sent me a ticket to Turks and was like, you're going to be on the show. So that's how I got on the show. So I went from, you know, being kind of new to LA. I mean, like kind of like flying out to LA to like party, then going back home and then finally living in LA. So then that's how like it just went from me being in LA, pandemic happened, everybody's inside, to like being flown out to Turks, and now I'm on a show. And I'm like, oh my God.
And how long were you in Turks for?
So we were in Turks for about I was in Turks for almost 2 months. We had a quarantine to make sure, you know, COVID regulations, everyone was safe, which I appreciate them for that because sometimes they would just throw you into a mixing pot and, you know, nobody wants to get sick. So I was in this really pretty villa, like big old pool. I think my villa had like 6 rooms and it was just me and like my chaperone. So I was out there for 2 months. But inside for like a month, and then they just, you never really know what's going on, and then they'll come in and be like, all right, you're on the show, like you're going in. So it's like you're completely oblivious and you just like go in and then mingle and then, you know.
So how was that experience for you, like just transitioning, moving, and then all of a sudden you're in an island during COVID while everyone's at home stuck doing nothing and you're filming, you know, for this show?
Yeah, I felt like really grateful because it's like we were in a pandemic, so no one could go anywhere. You know, I had a little anxiety though because I love to have my hair and makeup done and everything, and you can't get your hair done, you can't get your makeup done because it's COVID, so everything is closed.
Oh, but you couldn't do it you can do it yourself for the show though, right?
But I can't do like braids, and then at that time I couldn't even order weaves because everything was closed. So I literally went to Turks with like my natural hair, and I was like, oh my God, it's like it's gonna frizz up. I was gonna do like some dreadlocks, and I did it in the villa, and I looked a hot mess. Like my chaperone was like, girl, and I was like, I can't go on TV like this, don't eat me up. So then it was kind of like nerve-wracking though because you were limited resources, but it was like a really great opportunity because I pretty much got a free flight and a free vacation to Turks and Caicos. So really
experience on the show wise, like with everyone interacting with each other and then finally knowing what the show was, how was that for you?
It was funny because I'm an anime nerd, so I don't really watch too much reality TV. I mean, in the past I did. I watched like Love and Hip Hop, you know, Flavor of Love, that type of stuff. Right. But I never really watched too much of like the newer age dating shows. So I was like under the impression it was Parties in Paradise. So they told us we're just gonna go in, be singles, party, and then that's really it. And I worked in the industry as like a waitress and a bartender. So I was like, okay, cool. I do this on a daily basis. I get paid for it. I'm cool. Right. So then when they're like, no, I got 2 out to handle, and they were so excited, I literally had a blank face, and I was like, what is that? Like, what is that? And they're like, oh, it's a dating show, you know, you have to refrain yourself from like sex and all that stuff. So I was like, okay, cool. I was like, well, I don't know what I'm really getting into, but whatever, I'm appreciative just to be here.
Right.
So then yeah, they just throw you in, and then it was kind of nerve-wracking a little bit because I came in later as like a bombshell, so you get a little bit of anxiety because you see how everyone that went in beforehand, they're, you know, built friendships and built relationships, and like everybody was single though when I went in. So it's like, okay, cool, they say find your match or try to mingle, so you know that's what you're supposed to do, but it gets kind of a little nerve-wracking because you have such a short time there and everybody already kind of built their bond, so it's like you're kind of like, okay, well, where do I fit in? Or like, you know, you don't want to seem like you're interviewing everybody too when you're like trying to get to know people. Yeah. So it's like
you want it to be more organic than forced.
Yeah. You get
especially when everyone's already having their like own bonds and stuff. That makes sense too.
You get that anxiety because you're like, you know, like you like don't want to go through the laundry list, and somebody's like, okay, am I getting an interview, or are we trying to have girl talk? And then it's like everybody's off filming something else, and it's like even though it's reality TV, there's a structure to it, which is understandable. It's not back in the day where they just throw a camera and then you go haywire. You know, it's like you have to have structure, the viewer has to know what they're seeing, stuff like that. So I was just like, okay, anxiety. I haven't been around people in so long, and now I'm like thrown in with all these people. I gotta kind of get my people skills back together.
And stuff absolutely, like that. Especially with COVID and everything that's going on. So now that the show is done, where are you with everything from the show? Like, are you still cool with everyone on the show? Did you build relationships after the show, during the show, before the show, all of that stuff?
I'm really cool. I'm still cool with everyone. Like, we still like chit chat, you know. Some people are cooler than I'm cool with them, but they have more time to kind of build that relationship. But we all like keep it cordial, you know, say hi, bye, check in on each other. I'm really cool with like Truth and Jazz. Like, we talk almost every other day. We kind of keep up with each other, kind of keep each other accountable. Like, you didn't post on social media today, like make sure you post, and you know, go for your dreams and stuff like that. So I'm grateful to like meet people and mingle and stuff like that. So
because I know like the Netflix community, they're like
tight knit,
tight knit, and they're at every event that's everything Netflix all the time. So I like their community is very, I mean, it's like a family, like, you know, a little Netflix family. And I love that for all the people for Netflix, because their marketing is just phenomenal. So that's like a plus, you know, because I know there's a lot of other reality TV like E or VH1, BET and all that. But Netflix really like keeps everything together as a family. And even if it's a different show, they're inviting all the shows together, and they're all making sequels to stuff, and you know, just other things. So that's I love that for Netflix. Okay, so family life, you just had a baby. Congratulations. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about how is it being a new mom.
It's hard as hell. Like, I feel like every mom can, you know, admit that. Like, it's hard just kind of going from your everyday life, you know, all the stuff you would do on a daily basis, and then having someone to care for, especially when like you're solely caring for your child. You know, I have my mom, she helps me out, but it's like that's my responsibility, my daughter. So it's a lot, you know. She's 4 months, so just getting sleep wise, feeding wise, like trying to breastfeed, it becomes overwhelming, but it's just gonna set me up for success later on.
Absolutely. And it's you know, I have a lot of kids, everyone knows I have basketball team and subs, you know, y'all. But I mean, it's a blessing, you know. It's a blessing to even be able to have a kid. Some people can't have kids, so it's just a blessing that I feel just helps you grow more, mature more, and just value life. And like, just your decisions are not so much for yourself, it's for your kid now. It's like, okay, am I gonna be okay with my kid knowing that this happened or that happened, or like, would I need to come home earlier because my baby needs to eat, or whatever the case is. It's more of a responsibility, but it's a responsibility that I feel is no one's really ever prepared for. You know, motherhood is, I feel, so much different than fatherhood. As a woman, we have way more responsibility than the man, because we're the ones that are there 24/7 in their face, you know, like they can give milk, you know, Similac in a bottle, whatever, but it's like, it's more nurturing for us. you know, and it's more of a connection for the mother when it comes to the kids. And I just feel that like that's just a beautiful thing. And it's hard in the beginning, but it gets better with time, I promise. Everyone's always like, you know, I have friends that are pregnant now and they're on their first baby, and I'm just like, girl, it'll be okay.
Right.
You know, that postpartum is real, and just like going through the change of your body, going through the change mentally, physically, emotionally, like all of that takes place, because you're just like, oh my God, this is a new life. This is a new responsibility. This is a new job. This is, you know, a body that I made that I have to take care of on an everyday basis, to where your time is different, you know, just everything is different.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know, for the people that don't have kids, it's like having a puppy, you know, or a new pet, whatever it is, a ferret, whatever, you know, whatever you're into, guys. You know, and it's just like, okay, this is a responsibility that you have to have, that is like, you love it so much, and the love that you have for a new baby is unmatched. It's like it's a different love than you would have for like a spouse. You know what I'm saying?
It's indescribable.
Like, yeah, it's undescribable. It's innocent. There's no like, there's no need. You know what I'm saying? More so like they don't want or need anything from you besides love and attention. You know, where it's almost like you just, I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's almost like it's genuine, because you know sometimes you pour genuineness into people and they just use you and you think you're gonna get that back, and you don't. It's like with a baby, they're really like, I love you, show me you love me.
There's no
it's
motive
like,
behind it. It's like, I'm here because I didn't even choose to be here. I'm here because you brought me here. And it's like, I just want love and attention and milk, and for you to change my diaper. You know what I'm saying?
And it's like, give me the right milk, because if I don't like it, you will know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's like they communicate in other ways, you know, whether it's crying, or whether they poop and they cry, or, you know, it's that stage is a quick stage, and people are like, oh my God, I can't wait for my baby to start talking. And I was the same way with my daughter and my son, and, you know, and I was just like, oh my God, I can't wait for my daughter to start talking. And my daughter will not stop talking now. And she's 5, and she's like, mommy, 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 mommy. And I'm like, okay, all right. You only have to say it one time.
Like, I hear you. I hear you.
She's like, oh, mommy, 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 mommy. And she just talks. And I tell her now, I'm like, you talk so much. She's like, I know, right? And I'm like, okay.
It's like the pure joy. You're like, oh, okay.
Like, she's so excited about being able to talk. And she's like, Mom, maybe we should get another dog, a guard dog, so we can protect us from predators. I'm like, girl, we have 3 dogs.
Right.
Like we don't need another dog. And she just, so they're sponges, you know, and they learn so fast, and that cherish that young baby stage, because it's like precious.
It goes so fast.
Oh my gosh, girl, next thing you know, she's gonna be walking, crawling, all that fun stuff. And
she's
then
already like trying to move, like the roll over, and I was like laying with her, and she has like a mean right hook, so she like went like this and just hit me in the face, and I was like, ow. And she just like looked at me and started laughing, and I was like, okay, abuse is not nothing to laugh at, like it's not funny, but like she's innocent, so I know she didn't like mean it. But I just look at her and I'm like, oh my God, just yesterday you were like this big, now you're like huge, and
it's
having
so
to throw away
fast.
the clothes and stuff. I was
so
like, oh
fast,
God.
and then their little teeth come in, and next thing you know, their teeth are falling out, and the tooth fairy's coming in. Why they only got 2? Like my daughter loses 2 teeth every time. Like, so she lost her first bottom, then the outside bottom, now her top 2 are, and I'm just like,
you're like, it's all coming out.
Expensive. So I give her like, you know, $1 for each tooth. So she's like, Mom, $2. I can't buy nothing with this. Can you tell a tooth fairy to give me some more money? I'm like,
at least you're smart about money.
I'm like, this girl.
Right. You're like,
so
okay.
Yeah. I'm like, what is going on? So it's the tooth fairy, Santa Claus, to the point where my man was like, okay, there is no Santa Claus. I'm Santa Claus, because Yana about to be getting all these presents from Santa Claus. You're getting presents from me. And I'm like, no, they're dreams, you know. But I mean, I feel like if they still kind of, you know, watch movies and believe on their own, like, Daddy, there's a Santa Claus. You know he lives in the North Pole, and he doesn't want anyone to see him. You know, so
he's like, okay.
Yeah, he's like, no, I'm Santa.
He's like, yeah. That's how my dad was. Like, when my dad and my mom from a very young age. There was no Santa Claus, there was no Easter Bunny. They're like, do not think no other man was bringing you gifts. It was me. And I appreciate that now. You know, to a certain extent. It's like, you know, you want your kid to have like that little childhood, you know, but at the same time, you don't want them thinking somebody else did something for them when it's like, no, I'm your parent. I got you. Anything you need, I got you. Ain't nobody coming in here, you know. And that's funny because like I was like, Santa Claus, we have no chimney. We don't like.
How does he get it?
Yeah, he's like, my dad's like, you know, I was like, his fat self can't go under the door. And that's what my dad was like, child, you old enough, like he don't exist. And I was like, oh, okay.
And it's crazy because like nowadays, how the direction of where and what they're teaching in school is not necessarily what you'll be taught at home.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of like, how do we get away from that teaching if it's not within our morals or our standards or our upbringing at home, you know? So like I'm kind of in like, for example, they have these educational books now that are in school that like for like 5 or 6 year old kids, and they don't show like a child is being born from a mother. They show that it's like you know, this chromosome and that chromosome, and you might not be in your specific body. Like you might not be you might think you're a guy, but you're in the wrong body. So this is what they're teaching like 5, 6, 7 year old in school now.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and like same sex, all this type of stuff. So it's like, what if that's not something that you might necessarily teach in your household? Or what if you think that's too young for your kid at that age?
Yeah.
That we have to face now that they're teaching in schools. So it's kind of like you want them to know the truth, but you still want them to be a kid, you know?
Yeah.
Or teach them at least on your time. So it's kind of hard now with like iPads and internet and schools and, you know, the village outside of home where you kind of want to like protect
them to some extent.
Yeah, but you like, it's almost hard to.
Yeah, because like for me, it's like I think about that too. I'm like, how am I going to teach my daughter about things when I don't really understand? Because it's changing every single day, you know.
Absolutely.
And I have acquaintances who go by, I think it's like pronouns, like them, they, that type of thing. And I'm like, well, explain that to me. And like, I get it, but like sometimes I'm like, you know, you question like, why don't you just want to be a boy or a girl? But then it's like, I can't, you know, like disregard what they feel and how they want to be, you know, presented as. But it's like, it's hard for me because it's like with my daughter, if my daughter's like, what's this? And I'm like, I don't know. So it's like, it gives me anxiety because it's like, I already have to teach her everything else, and then I have to teach her this new stuff where it's literally changing every day. I'm like, I just want you to be a baby for a little bit, you know, so I can teach you how I feel. And like, I do feel like some things, even though I feel like a lot of with children programs too, they might put something on there, but they're putting it on there for the adults that are watching with the children, not necessarily the children.
Yes.
But for me, I'm like, you have to be conscious too, because it's like, yes, the adult wants to see inclusivity. I think that's the word, right? So inclusivity. Okay, yeah, okay. They want to like have inclusivity, but at the same time, it's like, how do you explain to a 2-year-old or a 1-year-old? It's like, what's that? And it's like, we haven't even talked about the birds and the bees and all that stuff. You
That's
know?
what
So
I'm
it's
saying. Like, I feel like there's definitely a time and a place for it. You know, maybe middle school where they're more like aware, or even high school, like 9th grade, you know, when their bodies are changing or whatever. But it's almost like confusion to what might be taught at home or what might not be taught at home. You know, where it's kind of like, where is that barrier? Or it should be maybe an elective to where it's like, okay, do I want my kid to take this class or do I not want my kid to take this class? You know, where it's like, I feel like that's something that should be taught when you're a little bit more of what's aware in this world of, you know, just so like, what if you're 13 and you decide, hey, I don't want to be a girl anymore, I want to be a boy, and then you go into a whole full transition and then you're miserable with that transition and then
you can't go back. There's a lot of people on TikTok speaking like it's they're trying to go back to what they were before, and they're like speaking out on like their mistake or they should have done this and done that, and like not saying like everybody's gonna feel like that, but it's like it speaks volume where it's like maybe have more talks and really find out what's going on before you just, it's like a 12-year-old, like that's like almost like a 12-year-old could buy your house or something
therapy,
like that.
Or you know, just have like a full-on mental evaluation, you know, speak with other people, like fully investigate and like get knowledge before you make a drastic change. Or you know, just the whole, like, I'm all for everyone and non-judgmental, but it's almost like that is a, you have to be sure if you want to do that, you know, to that extent, you know, or it's like curiosity, cool, you know what I'm saying, dibble dabble in whatever you want to dibble dabble in, I'm all for it. But it's like when you're making a drastic change, especially as a young child, you know, and just not knowing, you know, because it's like, you know, when you're kids, you're just like, oh mom, I want to wear sweats today, doesn't mean you want to be a boy, you know what I'm saying, like doesn't mean that you know, if you want to play sports, doesn't mean you have to be another sex, or it's just like, now I feel like I like the fact that we're open and not judgmental to other orientations or other you know, sexual preferences or whatever it may be. But I think that it should be like a time and place for it, and a specific age to where you know for sure that's what it is that you want to do.
As you say that, I feel like since, you know, that topic comes up a lot in conversation, I feel like that, you know, some people only want to talk about that topic. I feel like if you want to show us, you know, a new way of thinking with how people want to go by their pronouns, everything like that, I feel like you should also teach the children, you know, other things that are going on in the world, like not to be racist, not to discriminate, like, because sometimes when I go on media, they're just focusing on, like, you know, the LGBT community and like other things, but they're missing so many key components in,
it's deeper than that,
the puzzle. And I'm like, because, you know, people feel like, oh, you know, my issues aren't being brought up, and then when they are, you know, everybody wants to remind somebody like, well, I'm going through this too, and I'm going through that, and it's like, let's just put everything in a melting pot and let everything be important, not just one thing over the next, you know. Because even on the show, like, you know, people always be in my DMs and things like that, of course, like, as you're on social media, people in your DMs, but it's like, I've never had so many negative people be in my DMs off of like me asking a single guy on a date on a show and like bring up my race. And I'm like, you know, it's not like, it has nothing to do with like the program, it has to do with how people think. And it's like, you know, I know I'm a black woman, I know I'm, you know, multiracial, like all that, but it's like, I've never had my race being thrown at me like, oh, you should have never asked that man to go on a date. But that's how black people are. And I'm like, and these are like 12, 13, 14-year-olds. And I'm like, you're too young to even think like that. So who are you around that like made it okay for you to think that way?
Well, that, and I feel like that goes back to the household, the upbringing, what you're taught. Like, you're not gonna do better if you don't know better. You know, if that's what you're taught at home, that's what you're gonna push out into the world. And I feel like that starts with the parents, and, you know, back to like your morals, your standards, and your aspirations, your goals, whatever it is that your parents instill in you. You know, that's where it starts. And then whatever you push out into the world or whatever you surround yourself with, that's where it continues. And then it's like almost you mix the two together, and then you get what you are as an adult. Right, exactly. So I just feel like, you know, it definitely takes a village to raise children, 110%. But I just wish that village was a little bit more safer in all aspects, not just like with sexual preference, origin, but like you said, with racism, with prejudice, with just, you know, even on the news, like everything's so negative. Like, where is the positivity in things? Like, you know, instead of like us going against each other with all these requests or demands or who we want to be as a person, like, live your life and live your life the best way you can possibly live it, but don't make your life be interfering with other people's lives or how other people want to live. Like, you know, and it's almost like we can't judge each other regardless. Like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is that we may be, black, white, you know, LGBT community, whatever it is, just let us all be us at the end of the day.
It's like, because we all share literally 99.9% of genes. It's just that 1% that makes us different. So it's like, literally, if you take off all of our skin, we're the same. So it's like, we all have to just, you know, be nice to each other and like kind of be kind, even though people get on my nerves, because like I'll go to the store and like say like this is like the shelf and I'm this close to the shelf, and instead of saying excuse me, they try to like squeeze in, and I'm like, I could back up, I don't, it's okay. But it's like, you got to give people like, what is that word I'm trying to say? You have to give people grace, but at the same time, it's like you have to hold them accountable. Like, you want to talk about this, we don't want to talk about that. Like, you can't cheat it top. Like, you gotta talk about everything, and that's what I want to, show my daughter, because her father is Burmese and Laos, so he's on the Asian side. But it's like, you're still a black woman also for me. So Absolutely. It's like, I'm going to teach you everything. And also know you might come across people that, even though you don't have, she's very light. So it's like, but you don't have black skin, but it's still like, you're part of, our community. And like, you identify by this. And even though you might get privilege, because some people go by skin tone, all shades.
Isn't that so lighter. Crazy though? Like, it's like you have to teach these things at such a young age. Like, my daughter's 5 and she's literally like, she has 7 brothers and sisters. So it's like, some are darker, some are lighter, some have hazel eyes, you know what I'm saying? So they all look different. And she'll be like, Mom, why is my skin lighter compared to the other child's skin? And I'm like, it's okay, baby, it's your skin, you're unique in your own way. And you have to give these positive affirmations now, because it's like, you have kids that are bullying and you're just like, Mom, but this kid said this, and I'm like, no, but you're strong, remember? And you're brave, remember? So it's like, you have to instill all these things in your kids. And it's just crazy, because now, like, I would never think at 4, 3, 5 years old that I would have to explain like why my kid's skin color is the color that it is, or why your hair is a little bit more curlier than this kid's hair, or or why it's easier for you to wear braids all the time because your hair is going to grow that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, those little things that we might not think to teach, like, we have to teach now. It's insane.
And it's crazy too, because even in like the media, when I was younger and I used to watch, videos and like movies and things like that, people were lighter, or, you see some type of representation in certain areas. But then when you really research those countries and research everything, majority of people don't even look like that. You like, even in Latin America, you see Latin programs are a little bit lighter depending on what programs you watch. But a lot of Latin community, when you go there, they're brown skin. Or even India, you see a lot of light Indian, but you go to India and they're really deep, like they're darker than me sometimes. And I'm like, oh my goodness, but I wouldn't have known that if I didn't do my own research. And some people don't care to do their own research, they just see what they see and they go upon what they go. And me being a millennial back in the day, when like social media was just starting, before they added like the comment section and stuff, people would just like pictures and just go about their day. But since we opened the comment section and everything, everybody, even though the information is there, the truth is there, of course you have the lies, everybody has something to say. So even if you're like, oh my God, like, I love my skin today, there'll either be somebody that'll be like, your skin's not pretty, or why are you too confident? Colorist. Yeah, like you're too confident. Or why is my skin not pretty because I'm not it's like, it doesn't, I'm not saying anything negative about you. I'm just embracing myself. But you
there's nothing wrong with that.
And it's like, even though we all are different shades, it's like, certain issues, we all deal with them together, and instead of focusing on the issues we deal with together and trying to better them, they just keep picking it apart. They just keep going off on their own tantrum, and like, it's like, why are you arguing under comment sections? You know, I came from the generation of bullies where it's like a bully was in your face. So if you was really about that action, you was about that action. And social media, like, you have no followers, no pictures, but yet you're sending paragraphs under my comments talking about either my race or I don't like this, I don't like that. And it's like, you're not even a real person. Are you a bot? Like, what are you? And it's just, it's crazy. Like, I don't know how kids do it. And even though like suicide and things like that are at an all-time high from bullying, it's very unfortunate, because social media and the internet is supposed to bring us together. And I feel like it's just really tearing people apart. 110%. And trying to show people like, I'm better than you, or I got this, you don't have this. And it's like, once you turn off the phone, you have to be in real life.
Absolutely. Like now they're banning filters in certain countries and all of that stuff. So I'm like, oh, what is everyone gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is everyone gonna do? I mean, like, everyone, I feel like, edits cleaned. It doesn't even have to be like a crazy edit. Like you could be like, oh, okay, I have a stain on my shirt. Let me take the stain out, you know? Oh, my teeth look a little bit more yellow in this picture. Let me go make it a little whiter, you know? You don't got to make it so you get a whole BBL on the picture, but you know, it doesn't have to be that to that extent. But it's just like, you know, a little fixer upper here and there. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. Like they do it for magazines and stuff, but I just feel like too, I see where the problem is because society makes it so, like you said, even with the lighter skinned people on film, that was something that society kind of put in our head to watch. Okay, the films are, these people are in the house, these people are outside, you know, where it's like, that's what we were shown, you know, and then it trickles back down to us later on, down years later, you know, and then we're light skinned and we had nothing to do with what happened 400 years ago, and we're being scrutinized for what happened 400 years ago, or it's not fair because it's like, wait a minute, I had no parts of that. But, you know, whether my ancestors did or not, like, that's not where we're at now. So, like, it's just evolution and change and, you know, I guess life where it's like we never know what's coming.
Gonna happen. It's just kind of like a melting pot and you just get what you get out of it. Which is kind of scary, too, because it's like you don't know what you get out of it, and instead of embracing it, like, okay, well, we'll figure it out when we get there. It's like people are just waiting for you to either mess up, say the wrong thing. You can even breathe wrong on social media, and somebody's like, you breathe wrong.
Everyone's waiting for everyone to fail because nobody wants anyone to do better than them, and that's the society, unfortunately, that we live in now, which is on the lighter note. We play this game that's super toxic, super fun. I play with you. I don't know if it's going to be on a lighter note, but it's pretty fun. It's called Pick Your Poison. So the rules of the game, it's a game of would you rather. So would you rather pick what's on this card, or would you rather pick what's on that card? And
that card meaning like the card you have in your hand?
Yeah, so it's, you pick from 2 cards. And this is all you, so we'll start from here, this side. So let's do 6 cards each. Change this.
Oh yeah, I have to send you some lashes too.
Yes, girl.
I have my business, Embellish Me by Brie. I'm still like, I launched it, but I'm a Virgo, so I'm very tedious. So I'm like, I like to send it to you to get like feedback.
Do you still do like makeup and hair and stuff, or you just...
to a certain extent, like my friends will kind of like hit me up for it, but like I don't do clients anymore because they drive me crazy. Like my price is my price. And this is what it is. Do not come short with money because you will get half a face. And I was just like, especially having a baby now, I'm like, I need to just kind of take it. So esthetician and stuff I do for myself, or I'll like do consultations with like my friends to help them out, but I'm not in that business anymore. But
you're a business owner now.
But it helped me with the business that I'm doing now, so.
That's good. No, I'm all for lashes. I'm all for skincare. If you have tips, please let me know, because I just recently started doing my own makeup because I just felt like, you know, I get done so much that I'm like, I might as well stick a girl like weekly. Like it's like
LA prices was like, ooh,
a lot. You spending racks a month for sure, easily. So it's like, you're just like, I just started to, you know, have my mirror
up. You
up
did good though today.
I tried.
You have good skin too.
Like
so
my lashes a little bit, but
no, you good, girl.
I have no black eyeliner, so it is what it is.
Like I can't tell. I wouldn't say
Okay, I'm gonna take 1 out because I have 1 too many.
I was like 6. I was like, we got the whole thing.
I know. Would you rather have a naked picture of you published on the front page of New York Times, or have triplets with someone you only met once? Or I forgot to tell you, rules of the game. You have to answer. You can't remix the question, and you can give your explanation as to why you answered the way that you did.
So you have to give explanation.
You don't have to.
Oh, okay.
Like some questions are kind of crazy, so you might want to be like, all right, this is why I picked this.
Got it. Okay. So I just picked the card that I would choose.
Yes.
Okay. I'll probably go with the triplet part because at this stage in my life, I feel like I ain't letting nobody hit raw unless like I'll rock with you like that. Right. Especially in this day and age. So I feel like even if I met you once and I wanted to go that route with you, I feel like I had a good judgment of character of like who you were. And also too, like, ladies, don't be letting nobody, you know, do that to you if they you know, can't provide for you and your baby and your life and things like that. So I feel like I'll get triplets out of, you know, somebody that is worth triplets. So I'll go with that.
You're talking to the right person. You're talking to the right person. That's it. Whoever you meet,
right? And
you have triplets with, it ain't gonna be no
man. Because my friend tell me some stories, and I'd be like, "So you did what with who for what? What?" Why? I was like, "Girl, if you don't get up out of here, like that's like
it's just a why for me, like
yeah,
why?
Like and then people like, you know, it was just no, I don't know. I know
I don't
that
understand.
I'm like at our age, no, because I'm like, yeah, if you're like 20 or 21, yeah, we have a lapse of judgment, but I'm like, we grown, like you can't just be out here, no, can't do that.
Yeah, and it's like people are out here not safe.
Right, and I was like, child, people got the whole list going on. So I'm like,
can't do it.
And then I'm like, you leaving? Can't do it. Never can do it. Okay. Oh God, these cards.
They're crazy. They're all crazy.
Okay, that was good. Okay, these are funny. Okay. You either have 12-inch pubic hair that you can't trim, or have everyone be convinced that you've had sex with a family member even though you haven't.
I'm doing the pubic hair. I just feel like the incest is unacceptable.
Ain't with it.
It's not even an option because, I mean, like the pubic hair, who's gonna see besides your man?
Right.
You know, and you could tuck it, braid it. I don't know, do something with it. Like you know, make it a style. Nowadays, everybody has different type of styles of pubic hair. You want the trail, you want the triangle, whatever, bald, whatever it is.
And it's just cool. I was like, pick your poison. Like, what do you want? It's gonna hurt all the way. You want landing strip? We gonna
right. Every week you got a new design. I'm all for it. Okay, so would you rather smoke the wrong end of a lit cigarette or have your significant other leave you for your best friend?
I think I'd rather have my significant other leave me for my best friend because I feel like I love my beauty and I can't be having no burns on my lips. I can't have nobody judging nothing. And I know that because my man left me for my best friend. I know my best friends and they are very particular, so they will drive him crazy. So that'll be his karma. So I'll have that. I'm like, you're better off with me if you thought I was bad. They're worse. Not in a bad way, but like they're very like, they know their worth. They have standards. They're like, look, you falling behind, I'm gonna let you know you falling behind. And if you don't meet it, you know. And I know that'll drive him crazy because he'd be like, I get it. So yeah,
hilarious.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. These are freaking hilarious.
Funny, right?
Okay. They're like low-key out of pocket. Okay,
no, they're poisonous.
I'm like exactly
this
what the is beyond toxic. I'm like, how do you even articulate this question? Okay, so you gotta masturbate to sandpaper until you come, or nothing is left, or have sex with a dead person.
Or have sex with a dead person?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That's hard because you damn if you do, damn if you don't.
No, both of them are bad. Okay, I'm gonna just have sex with my man's dead body one last time.
Right.
Just one last time. I had to pick because I'm not just gonna randomly have sex with a regular. Like, I just feel like that's weird as is. Maybe if he just passed and I'm like, all right, I gotta get one in one last time. Yeah. You know, he's not like hard or anything. I mean, like not that hard, but I mean like body hard, you know what I'm saying? So like I would rather do that than to like masturbate till there's nothing left with sandpaper, because then first of all, that's like thin raw meat down there for us, you know, and I mean for guys too, but it's just like, what are we gonna do? We're just gonna be sore, and then when we have to use the bathroom, it's gonna hurt. Like I don't.
We already feel that during childbirth, so it's like,
I know, and to have it for like a long time, not doing it.
You know, it's funny because it's not funny. Sorry guys, stop saying like this is not funny. There was an article of like a guy that was arrested a long time ago, and he was like digging up graves and having sex with like the bones. And I was like, cool. Like people were doing that like back in the day, and I was like, that's like weird. That's like a weird fetish.
Yeah, and it's almost like like, why would you do it? Because they're not showing you it feels good. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's just
that's my only reason why I would rather, why choose the pain instead of the pleasure. Like, you're getting, at least, okay, when you're having sex with someone, at least you're getting the pleasure out of, like, that situation. But it's like, the other situation, like, you are in pain the whole time.
Some people love pain, though. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's like that S&M stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, like, even me, like, I love tattoos, but it hurts. I don't like the pain part of it.
Yeah.
You know?
But they're pretty when they come out.
Yeah.
My hand tattoos hurt so bad. Like, my little ones.
Oh, girl, I had one on my hand, I had one on my foot.
They hurt
the bony
so
ones.
much.
Yeah. And the, like, thin skin, like, inside of your arm, or, like, that thin meat skin.
Yes. I don't know how people are just blasted everywhere. I'm like, that's
hard.
crazy.
It's definitely hard.
And then they don't take care of it and their skin's ashy. I'm like, you at least got a freaking lotion. Like,
at least bare minimum oil something. Okay, last but not least, would you rather cut off one of your ears with a pair of children's safety scissors, or eat 6-ounce portion of scabs? Ooh. 6 ounces, that's probably like what, like this cup?
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking scabs.
I think I'll probably do the scabs on like some Fear Factor stuff. Like, seriously, because I'm like, cutting off my ears not gonna grow back, but like scabs, I might be sick, you know, get a little medication, you know, and I'll be fine.
But you can cut off your ear and they can like surgically put it back.
Yeah, but it's still not gonna look good though. Like, it's gonna be like kind of off depending on what surgery you get, and then you gotta pay to get the surgery to put it back on, and then if you don't get it reattached like right then and there, kind of, it'll like die, and then you'll just be looking crazy. So I think I'll just go with the scabs. No harm to my face.
He's like, I'm not fucking this face.
Like, no
whatever it is, anything but my face.
You know, because sometimes your face, I mean, it's bad to say that, but it is what it is. Sometimes your face gets you in the door. You know, sometimes you have pretty privilege, and some people use it for good, some people use it for bad. But it's like, as a woman, you know, that's, every woman can agree with that. They've used their beauty to get somewhere. It could be business, the club, like, out of all
especially here in LA.
Oh, of course. And it's funny because on the show, I accidentally said, like, oh, I'm the bad friend. I didn't mean like a literal bad friend. I'm like the bad girl. Like, out of all my friends, they're so good that I'm like, look, we're about to go out, we're about to party. So your man knows you're safe with me, but we about to party. So I was like the bad influence friend. Right. And it was like, I use my pretty privilege everywhere. Like, I would be like, we're not waiting in that line. Let's go talk to the bouncer. Like, you know, and I'm very, like, I feel like I'm like a people person, but I'm also sweet. Like, regardless of like the show, people felt like I was a bully and stuff. Like, I'm very sweet, and I'm very, like, appreciative and everything like that. So I was like, talk to the bouncer, like, hey, you know, we're on the list, can we get in? And I feel like when you treat people like people in a respectable way, that takes you so much farther than you looking pretty. So like, my friends would be like, hey, talk to the bouncer, or talk to the guy in the front, let's get in. So I was like, all right, we about to be out all night. So it's funny because some people be like, oh, pretty privilege, da da da, and I'm like, if you know, you know.
It's a thing.
Like,
it's definitely a thing. Like, you know, just like light skin, dark skin is a thing. Everything is a thing.
or like men with money. Like, they complain, but
everything is a thing. Like, whether it's your car, whether it's your looks, whether it's your sexual origin, whether it's the color of your skin, it's a thing. Everything is a thing.
Yeah.
Everything is a thing. Okay, so tell everyone where they can find you, where to get your beauty products, your baby, how to see your baby, all that good stuff.
Oh yeah, so my Instagram is Bri.Giscombe. That's where you can see my baby and see things that I post. And TikTok is my name, Brianna Giscombe. And then my beauty is embellishmebybri.com. So right now we have lashes up there. We got a couple skin products, and then we're gonna have like foundations and everything coming soon. I just want to make sure the formula is right because I'm very protective over the skin as an esthetician. So I want to make sure everybody.
And your skin looks good too, girl.
Thank you, thank you.
It's
you know,
flawless.
especially coming from cystic acne, girl. It took me a while to come back. But
oh, girl, I know all about that. Like, when I was pregnant, I was breaking out crazy.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm like, okay, lasers, this, that, and the third. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you want to know all things about skin, beauty, get lashes with Bri, follow her and tune into all the things that she has going on. And that is it for Telli Talks.
Yay, bye.